Hello, this is Alex from Lincoln Park Library, and today's How To Tuesday is how to make Dutch pancakes, which are also called German pancakes or Dutch babies. So to start off, you will need half a cup of all-purpose flour, 1/3 cup of whole or 2% milk, 2 large eggs, 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, half a teaspoon of kosher salt, 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, as well as any toppings that you want for the end, which could include powdered sugar, maple syrup, fruit, jam, things like that. So for step 1, you want to start by blending your batter. So you want to put your flour, milk, eggs, sugar, vanilla, and salt into a blender or food processor. I actually used a Ninja Bullet, which you can see at the bottom. I was able to fit all of the batter into one of those normal sized cups, but before that I wasn't sure how much it was going to produce batter wise, so I had put it into a bullet first and then transferred it into the Ninja Bullet cup, but it fit perfectly fine. So once all of those ingredients are in your blender or your food processor, you want to blend for 10 seconds. Take it off, scrape down the sides, and then blend for another 10 seconds. It's really important to get a lot of air into this batter so that it comes out a lot fluffier. And you'll notice as you are blending your batter, this is very, very liquidy, more so than majority of batters that I tend to work with, especially for like a pancake-ish type dish. So don't be alarmed, it's supposed to be very, very liquidy. For step 2, you also want to leave your batter in your blender, your food processor, your Ninja Bullet, whatever it is that you're using, and you want to place it aside for like 20-25 minutes. You want to allow the batter to rest, and you want that flour to absorb the liquid. So I recommend doing at least like 25 minutes, even if you could do 30, that works too. Just make sure you set an alarm for yourself so you don't forget about it. Then step 3, this is going to be prepping the skillet. So while that batter is resting, you want to place a 9 or 10-inch oven-safe skillet in the middle rack of your oven. You can see down here, I used a cast iron skillet. You want to heat your oven to 425, place your skillet in there, and then wait. So once your batter is done resting and you're ready to make your Dutch pancake, you will remove your skillet from the oven using oven mitts because it's going to be very, very hot. You are going to place your 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter into the skillet, and you want to evenly distribute it across the skillet. Make sure it's evenly coated. You can tilt it. You can see up here that I used a butter knife to kind of push it around. That works too, or you can lift it up and kind of tilt it so that everything becomes coated. Just make sure that you're very careful because your skillet will be very, very hot from being in the oven. So once your butter is evenly distributed throughout the skillet, you are going to begin pouring in the batter. So again, like the butter, if you need to, tilt your skillet a little bit to make sure the batter is running evenly throughout the whole thing, you can do that as well. It's definitely very important that the batter is evenly distributed throughout the skillet just because this batter tends to grow up the sides and you don't want one side to have too much batter because you don't want it to overflow into your oven. So once you've poured your batter and it's all even, you are ready to place your skillet back into the oven. Make sure your oven's at 425 again, and then you want to bake until the pancake is puffed, lightly brown across the top and then darker brown on the edges and the sides. So this will be about 15-20 minutes. Keep an eye on it. It's pretty quick once you get it in there. I think mine took about 20 minutes total. And then you'll want to serve your pancake while it's hot. So you can either do this from the skillet itself or you can take it out and put it on a serving platter. So what I did with mine, I dusted it with powdered sugar. I cut it into wedges, and then I also had like a side of toppings. I didn't put them all on just because I didn't want it to be soggy because I knew that, I wouldn't be eating the entire thing in one sitting. I then made homemade whipped cream, as you can see on the bottom. I put that on top with some fresh cut strawberries. You can also use maple syrup or jam, other types of fruit. Whipped cream, like I said, or maybe you just want it plain or with powdered sugar, you can do that as well. Some people also make them savory instead of sweet. So on the next slide, I can show you. So here are some other examples. You can see here, like some people just use fruit and powdered sugar. Some people actually put the fruit in the batter itself. So you can see here that someone put all of these blueberries into the batter when they poured it. So they're baked into it. And they put powdered sugar on top. You can see here too, you could do yogurt, you can do cheeses with jam, you can use different kinds of nuts. And then some people do savory Dutch babies. So you can see you can put eggs, any kinds of like meat or sausage, avocados, spinach, cheeses, tomatoes. You kind of can make Italian pizza type thing. So there are really so many ways that you can make this dish, especially if like maybe one morning you're feeling like you want something sweet, and then another day maybe you want something savory, maybe you want to make it for lunch or dinner or brunch. You can really make it for any type of day as well. You don't just have to make it as like a sweet pancake type thing for the morning. Another thing to note, like I was saying before about the batter, how it kind of climbs up the sides, I think you can see that a lot better in all of these. You can see how it really like climbs up the sides, kind of like a deep dish pizza in a way. And mine didn't really do that, which I think is a combination of two things. One, I use gluten-free flour, which tends to be a little difficult in like the rising of certain dishes. So one, I used the gluten-free flour, and I think two, it needed to be pulsed in the Ninja Bullet, I think, for like maybe an extra 10 seconds because of that. I think, giving more air into the batter would have helped me and helped it like grow a little bit more on the sides. Like you can see here how they really come up and, almost over at some points the cast iron skillet. But it still tasted fantastic. If you're gluten-free, use your 1-to-1 flour, all-purpose flour, and it still tasted fantastic. And overall, this was an awesome recipe to make. It was so easy. I think one of the easiest that I've done, and I definitely would recommend it to everyone to try. I think next I'm going to try a savory one, maybe like this one below with the egg and the avocado. I think I might try something like that next and see how that batter does with more savory toppings. But thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys go home and make your own Dutch pancakes and let me know how it goes. Have a great day.